don't know what it is, I'm going to quickly address it. The Loud House is a show produced by Nickelodeon. It's a show about a boy named Lincoln Loud and his 10 sisters who go on adventures. He has 5 older sisters and 5 younger sisters. For this, I was a really big fan of The Loud House, and The Loud House actually was one of the reasons why Nickelodeon isn't dead. Back then, Nickelodeon was about to die, literally. And so, when The Loud House came along, it revived the whole thing. Or I wouldn't say revived, saved it from dying completely. So, I was a really big fan, if I didn't already address that right now. I had countless DVDs or VHS tapes. When I was little, every episode would come on in the morning. It ended just before it ended and gave me enough time to walk to school. So every morning, I would tape it and then put it on the VHS tape. And then I usually kept it and played it during class through my headphones. I couldn't see it, and teachers back then allowed hoodies up. So then, I was a big fan, a very big one. I was so far, I even got, one time, a miracle happens. But that's way too far for now. Let me address something before that. One time, I was listening through it during class. This time I thought, listening to the audio was just boring, I want to see the whole thing. So when we had to go to the big computer room, back then the monitors were super big, not the tiny ones you might know right now. So when the teacher had left the classroom for a bit to go to the teacher's meeting for something, I took out and started watching it. Back in my class, this was my science class, and believe me, don't think I didn't have snitches in my class. But this science class, there was surprisingly only one snitch, and he wasn't here that day. So that means I could watch it in peace. Well, at least that's what I thought. I took it out and started watching it in the middle of there. It was a small you wonder how I watched it? The VHS tape wasn't that big. It was very tiny. It went into a small camera. I was watching it through the camera. I was smiling and laughing. And then I hear someone's hand on my shoulder. And this is when I looked into the computer screen to see the reflection of my teacher. I just wanted to shrivel up and die right there, but I couldn't. I was forced to turn around even though I didn't want to. I got sent to the principal's office and got suspended for 3 days. And you might be thinking, why would I get suspended for something so minor? Well, my school was a really strict one, and when I got home, I was so upset. And I was so upset because there was a field trip the next day, and that was gonna be to the lake. I've been there before, but being on a field trip just adds more enthusiasticism. It really sucked not being able to go. So then, since I missed the field trip, my parents felt bad for me. So we got tickets to the Nickelodeon studios. I was overjoyed to hear that. I was running down the stairs saying yes, yes, yes. And I was so happy to go. When Saturday came, I was woken up at 6 o'clock because it was open at 7, and I was barking to my parents to get up, although it was not that far away. So I brushed my teeth really fast, and all I had for breakfast was a cereal bar because I did not want to be late and miss it. So then we got in the car and drove out to Nickelodeon Studios, and I met the people who drew the characters. I even saw some guy drawing the Loud House characters for a future episode. I even got to see the editing room. They would add one picture at a time, So it was so fast that the human eye perceives that it's moving. So that's what we call a cartoon. But everyone knew that. I'm just saying. I was so I got a lot of cool things too. They had stamps and stuff like that. They had mini toys, bubbles, and candy. But what I was most ecstatic, I wanted a DVD. So I did something which was not so good. I stole a DVD. Yes, I know it was wrong. But I was very young back then, and okay, maybe I did do something wrong, but I was really young. So I'll give myself a pass. It's okay if you don't. I found this DVD called just it was just a blank paper that said The Loud House. And so it was just a blank paper on a disc which was in the back of something. I grabbed it, shoved it in my backpack, and I continued on with the rest of Nickelodeon Studios. It was awesome seeing it. So when I left, I was not that happy because I really liked it. And I'd been there for 2 days, yes, because there was a small hotel not near to it, and I would be able to go the next day, and there were like big statues and everything, and then it was awesome until I had to go home. When I went home, I was kind of really ecstatic to see the DVD. Could it be a working project? I hoped not, because then that would just I would just made a fool out of myself stealing a DVD for nothing. So I it was a VCR once again. I grabbed the VCS tape and I put it into the player. It started off, but the beginning of the theme song was normal. But at the end, instead of the house being orange, it was red. Instead of the white title saying the Loud House, the title was light gray. And Lily didn't have her boop boop at the end. It already seemed off. And then when it cut to see the inside of the house with the sisters running around, and it looked like a big hassle. A title card then appeared above it saying the truth. 2 seconds later, Lincoln busts through the door. That's it, I've had it. I can't stand being called a grandpa anymore. What was that for? I said in my mind. And so his parents comfort him about it, and he asks, "Why do I have gray hair? Everyone else why do I have white hair? Everyone else has blonde or black or brown hair." "Look at Lucy," said his dad. "She has black hair." "Her hair's dyed," said Lincoln. "Why do I have white hair?" "Well, Lincoln, this isn't going to be easy to say," said the mother. "You're what?" I said. "Adopted." "What?" said Lincoln. "You see, when you were really little, you are a neighbor's friend. But you don't know this story. I even told the girls about this. So it all happened a very long time ago." This is still his dad talking. Me and your mother were at a party, and so I was talking to your dad, or your real father, who was my friend at the time, and it turns out that your mother and your father was so mad when he found out that she was pregnant. He didn't find out until about 7 months in, and she was threatening to assault her, and she had to go away to a shelter with being fear every single night. So in the end, we she went to the shelter and we took care of her every day. She had so much fear, so much scared, just crying that she would get assaulted. When you were born, she committed suicide because she was so scared. So eventually, the dad went to prison, your real dad, and he was executed on death row for doing that. And so we took you. And don't think that you're any less of our family. You'll always be part of our family. Blood doesn't matter. Lincoln then starts crying and runs up to his room. Sweetie, said his mom. Leave him alone, he needs some time, said his dad. It then shows Clyde's house with him getting a text, with him watching TV. But then he hears that little text message ping, and he takes out his phone and his eyes widen. His jaw drops, and I mean literally, it literally dropped to the floor, which looked like some funny effect. And then it cut to black. 3 hours later, it said in cursive, Lincoln's on the roof. It's midnight, and then he was about to jump off. Goodbye, said Lincoln. Clyde. No, stop! Clyde, I have to do this, said Lincoln. No, you don't, said Clyde. This is goodbye, Clyde. Lincoln, stop! Lincoln then threw himself off of the roof. No! Said Clyde with teardrops in his eyes. When he landed, his head cracked open, and it turns out that when he didn't actually, he was still all right. He was still breathing and shouting. Clyde then went inside to ask them for help. He went inside screaming, Lincoln, he fell off the roof! He screamed. Everyone ran outside, but as soon as they tried to get out, they heard loud gunshots. And when they got outside, they could see the body of Lincoln. He had shot in his left lung, and now he was officially dead. How could he still be alive from this? I actually felt really sorry for this. And then it cuts to his funeral. Everyone's there, family, everyone. And then it just ends there, with no credits or anything. But the real question was, okay, skip that. There's still lots more to tell. I ripped out the VCR and I went to bed, so shaky and upset and scared at the same time. Why would they make something like that? I see. Why? I said. Was this some failed thing or something? Because this didn't look normal for any type of loud house. Even if this was like adult parody or something, that's too messed up. So when I was sleeping in my double bunk bed. I had a double bunk bed for some reason. And then I wake up to hear the siren sounds. I look out my window, and it's the cops. And my family, I was so scared. I immediately thought, did they see me taking the DVD? And it turns out that was the reason why they were there. They opened up, and then so they told my parents about how I had stolen the DVD from Nickelodeon Studios, and they had the footage. They asked to give it back, but they said that I lost it on the way home. And they said that this was that I could go to jail for this and blah blah blah. Lecture. I said I understood, but I still do it. But I try to be more cautious this time. And I don't steal big things like stuff like that. So to this day, I still have absolutely no idea why they would make something as cruel as that. Oh, hello, boys and girls, and that was The Loud House, The Truth, Lost Episode Creepypasta. My final thoughts? It was more of a sad than scary, mostly in my opinion. And the part where you notice I go to Nickelodeon Studios and I steal the DVD. Well, that's not actually true if you find the actual story. I kind of like changing up a bit, so it makes it a bit unique. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video and sweet dreams.